We often think of a dead bedroom as a problem contained within four walls, defined by a lack of physical touch. But what if the absence of sex isn't actually about sex at all? It is the canary in the coal mine of your entire relationship. Low desire, work, parenting, these are often symptoms, not the root cause. These hidden forces are quietly eroding intimacy, turning partners into roommates. Tiny fractures in emotional safety build invisible walls. It requires a foundation of unwavering safety. What is preventing us from feeling truly connected? This is where the real hope lies. The stories we tell ourselves about our sex lives are often designed to protect us. We're just too tired, we say. Work has been so stressful. We point to the children, to hormonal shifts, to the natural ebb and flow of desire. These explanations are comforting because they place the problem outside of our control. But this keeps us stuck, allowing us to avoid looking at the more meaningful dynamics at play. It's about the emotional currents running beneath the surface of our daily lives. These moments of emotional withdrawal are the true architects of distance. Desire is slowly starved in an atmosphere where emotional connection is inconsistent or unsafe. The problem with focusing only on the obvious excuses is that it leads to ineffective solutions. Therefore, the first step toward genuine revival is to gently set aside the familiar script. We must be willing to explore the hidden landscape of our relationship. The goal is to understand how you, as a couple, have co-created this distance. By shifting our perspective from fixing a sex problem to healing a relationship system, we open the door to profound and lasting transformation. When desire wanes, the common story is exhaustion. After juggling deadlines and chores, intimacy feels like another marathon. We're busier than ever, and responsibilities smother passion. Blaming exhaustion hides a complex truth. Is our sex life unfulfilling? If intimacy feels like another chore, we'll feel too tired for it. Restorative connection should energize, not drain. Too busy is similar, blaming external forces. Busyness becomes a shield, avoiding deeper issues like fear or resentment. Tiredness and busyness aren't the cause, but fertile ground for disconnection. Examine what we're truly tired of and too busy for. It's often the emotional emptiness surrounding sex. One accepted truth is the concept of mismatched libidos. It creates a dynamic where one person feels rejected and the other pressured. But desire is not a static volume knob. It's a fluid state influenced by the relationship. Desire is linked to how you feel in the relationship. Low libido is often a rational response to a connection that feels unsafe. Desire is like a plant. It can't thrive in barren soil. Framing the problem as mismatched libidos is a dead end. What is happening in our relationship that is making desire retreat? Co-create a relationship where desire can emerge for both partners. Tend to the emotional soil, ensuring it is rich enough for intimacy to flourish. Major life stages, like the arrival of children, often lead to a loss of intimacy. Financial stress, career transitions, or caring for aging parents can also take a toll. These events are disruptive, demanding resources and shifting a couple's sexual life. The danger lies in using them as a permanent excuse for a lack of connection. Maintaining small rituals of emotional intimacy, like a distraction-free conversation, is key. These acts are the threads that prevent the bond from fraying. Life gets in the way. Explanations are often symptoms, not root causes. Intimacy requires conscious effort, especially during difficult times, acting as an anchor in the storm. At the very heart of a thriving, intimate connection lies a non-negotiable foundation: emotional safety. This isn't just about feeling physically safe. It is the profound sense of security that comes from knowing you can be your most authentic self without fear of judgment, ridicule, or dismissal. It is the unspoken promise that your vulnerabilities will be handled with care and your inner world will be respected. When this safety is present, we feel free to share our deepest thoughts, our biggest dreams, and our most fragile insecurities. This vulnerability is the fertile ground from which all true intimacy, including sexual desire, grows. It is the oxygen that passion needs to breathe. The erosion of this safety rarely happens overnight. It is not the result of a single dramatic event, but rather a slow, insidious process of 1,000 tiny cuts. It's the subtle eye roll when you share an idea you're excited about. It's the sarcastic tone that dismisses a concern you've raised. It's the way your partner checks their phone while you are trying to share something important about your day. Each of these moments, seemingly small on its own, sends a powerful message. What you think doesn't matter. What you feel is an inconvenience. You are not safe to be fully you with me. Over time, these small injuries accumulate, creating invisible walls brick by brick. When we don't feel emotionally safe, our bodies instinctively go into a state of self-protection. The nervous system shifts into a subtle fight-or-flight mode, constantly scanning for threats. In this state of low-grade chronic alert, vulnerability becomes impossible. The very idea of physical nakedness feels terrifying when emotional nakedness has been punished. The body cannot and will not open up to pleasure when the mind and heart feel they are under siege. What we often misdiagnose as a loss of libido is, in fact, the body's intelligent and protective response to an environment that no longer feels secure. Desire doesn't just disappear, it retreats to a safer place. Reviving intimacy, therefore, must begin here. It starts not with sexual techniques or romantic gestures, but with the painstaking work of rebuilding this sacred foundation of trust. It requires a commitment from both partners to become a safe harbor for each other once again. This means practicing active listening, validating each other's feelings even when you don't agree, and eliminating criticism and contempt from your interactions. It's about consciously choosing to meet your partner's vulnerability with empathy and kindness. Only when the emotional climate of the relationship feels safe and warm again can the tender shoots of desire begin to grow. In the early days, generosity flows freely, driven by the joy of making our partner happy. But as time goes on, the scorekeeping syndrome can emerge. This is the mental tally of who did what and who owes whom. The relationship slowly transforms from a partnership into a transaction. This shift is poison to intimacy, turning the relationship into a silent negotiation. Resentment builds, suffocating affection. Sex becomes just another item on the ledger, a duty or something that is owed. Breaking free requires a conscious decision to put down the calculator. Return to a mindset of shared partnership, giving for the sake of giving. This starts with open communication, fostering empathy. When you stop keeping score, you create space for spontaneous generosity and genuine appreciation. Intimacy can once again become a gift freely given. In every relationship, there's a stage where two people merge, building a shared life and a powerful sense of us. However, too much merging can diminish passion. Losing separateness eliminates mystery and attraction. Attraction requires a degree of unknown, a sense of your partner's rich inner world. Without individual pursuits, there's nothing new to bring back to the relationship. Reviving passion means cultivating a healthy sense of self. Differentiation is powerful for your sex life. By becoming more interesting individuals, you become more interesting to each other, reigniting attraction. Long-term relationships naturally form routines, offering comfort and predictability. We develop sexual scripts, but these can become a rigid prison if we stop communicating our needs. Unspoken expectations and assumptions lead to a slow, predictable death of desire. The fear of rejection silences us, preventing us from asking for what we want. We choose predictability, even if unfulfilling, reinforcing boredom and lowering desire. Breaking free requires courage and open communication. Replace assumptions with curiosity. Take small risks to introduce novelty and dismantle rigid rules. Transform the bedroom into a space of exciting, collaborative discovery. After a lull in intimacy, a toxic shift can occur where the focus moves from mutual pleasure to performance. Each encounter becomes a test. Am I good enough? Will they be satisfied? This creates paralyzing pressure, the enemy of desire, turning a natural act into an evaluation. The longer the dry spell, the more weight the next encounter bears, creating unrealistic expectations. This sets up both partners for failure and avoidance. To escape, redefine the goal as pleasure and connection, not performance. Remove the pressure to finish, focus on what feels good, and expand intimacy to include all sensual touch. Create a space free from anxiety, filled with permission to explore and simply enjoy each other. Emotional intimacy imbalance is a common relationship trap. One partner needs emotional closeness before sex, the other needs sex to feel emotionally close. The emotional first partner pulls away from physical advances, craving conversation and vulnerability first. The physical first partner seeks touch and sex as their way to reconnect, feeling rejected when turned down. Both feel misunderstood. One thinks, they only want my body, the other, they don't desire me. This cycle deepens the distance, leaving both partners lonely. Breaking it means learning each other's language. Emotional first partners can try to be more open to physical affection, while physical first partners invest in non-sexual intimacy. It's not about one partner changing completely, but about meeting in the middle. When both partners validate each other's needs, They build a bridge, emotional and physical. That's how you end the cycle and rediscover connection. Desire thrives when both partners feel seen, heard, and wanted. Resentment is a quiet poison that erodes intimacy. It builds from unspoken hurts, unmet needs, and feeling unappreciated. When resentment lingers, every touch can feel like a demand, not a gesture of love. Desire and resentment can't coexist. Resentment shuts the body down. It often shows up as distance, sarcasm, or avoiding intimacy. The partner on the receiving end feels the coldness but may not know why. Healing starts by naming the hurt, not blaming, using "I felt" instead of "you always." Releasing resentment frees up emotional energy and makes room for desire to return. Honest, vulnerable conversation is the antidote. Remember when your relationship was full of laughter and play? Over time, responsibilities take over and playfulness fades. The relationship becomes all business, schedules, chores, logistics. Without play, desire withers, sex becomes serious, pressured, and awkward. Play is the secret ingredient for intimacy. It brings novelty, fun, and lightness. Reviving play doesn't require grand gestures, just small moments of silliness, dancing in the kitchen, or sharing a joke. These moments break the tension and reconnect you as partners, not just co-managers. Make a conscious effort to be playmates again. When you do, you create space for desire to grow naturally. Playfulness is the bridge back to joyful intimacy. Our adult relationships often replay old childhood attachment patterns. Anxious partners fear abandonment and seek closeness, sometimes overwhelming their partner. Avoidant partners fear being engulfed, so they withdraw, triggering more pursuit from the anxious partner. This anxious avoidant dance creates a painful cycle. Each partner's coping style activates the other's deepest fears. Neither is the villain. Both are trying to feel safe. The anxious partner's pursuit can kill desire for the avoidant, while withdrawal makes the anxious partner feel unwanted. Understanding this dynamic is the first step to breaking the cycle. Awareness lets you choose new, healthier ways to connect. Healing starts with compassion for yourself and your partner's old wounds. Together, you can learn new steps and create a safer, more passionate connection. Every relationship balances two needs: connection and autonomy. We crave closeness and safety, but also freedom and individuality. Too much connection can feel suffocating. Too much autonomy, isolating. When couples merge completely, desire fades. There's no mystery or spark. When they drift into parallel lives, intimacy dies from lack of warmth. The healthiest relationships flexibly balance both needs. Passion thrives when partners feel both close and free. Check in. Are you nurturing both togetherness and individuality? Adjust as needed. This balance is always shifting. That's how you keep desire alive. The solution isn't choosing connection over autonomy or vice versa. Both are essential for a vibrant relationship and sex life. See the tug-of-war as a dance, not a battle. It takes ongoing communication and curiosity to find your balance. Ask, are we connecting enough? Are we supporting each other's growth? When you nurture both wings, togetherness and separateness, your relationship can truly soar. This conscious calibration creates the space for desire to thrive. Safe, exciting, secure, and alive. That's the sweet spot. Keep dancing, keep adjusting, and keep talking. That's how you build a relationship where intimacy and passion last. Let's look at Sarah and Mike. To everyone on the outside, they had the perfect life. But behind closed doors, a painful silence had taken over. They hadn't been intimate in over a year, a source of deep shame. They were trapped in a cycle of hurt. Mike felt rejected, while Sarah felt a lack of desire. His frustration grew, and he started to make small, cutting remarks. Mike's subtle criticisms felt like tiny paper cuts to Sarah's soul, making her feel constantly judged. Neither understood the pattern. Mike's criticism made Sarah feel emotionally unsafe, causing her to withdraw. They were locked in a destructive loop. Their bedroom died from 1,000 tiny, unhealed cuts. They needed to see the cycle itself as the problem, not each other. Consider Lisa and David, admired for their closeness. After a decade, they were best friends who finished each other's sentences, sharing hobbies and working together. They prided themselves on harmony and never fighting, building a safe, predictable world. Yet, their erotic life vanished. Their deep connection became platonic, like affectionate siblings. They fell into total merger, erasing space and erotic tension. Reintroducing individuality, cultivating separate interests, brought new energy. By becoming more interesting as individuals, they became more interesting to each other. True intimacy isn't erasing space, but learning to dance within it. The first step in reviving a lifeless bedroom is to reframe the problem. The state of your sex life is not the problem. It's the most honest messenger you have. It's the canary in the coal mine, singing about the health of your relational ecosystem. When desire fades, something in the emotional atmosphere has become toxic. Instead, it becomes a shared inquiry. What is happening in our life together that is making intimacy feel difficult? This reframing turns you into collaborative partners on a shared mission. Seeing the bedroom as a barometer of relational health is a message of incredible hope. The power to reignite the flame lies in the small choices you make to rebuild trust. The bedroom will heal when the relationship becomes a place where both partners can truly thrive. Once we accept that a dead bedroom is a symptom, our entire approach to solving it really has to change. We need to stop focusing our energy on the bedroom itself and start tending to the entire relationship ecosystem. This means zooming out and looking at the whole picture of your life together. How do you handle conflict? How do you celebrate each other's successes? Do you make time for genuine, undistracted conversation? Do you support each other's individual growth? These are the foundational pillars that determine the emotional climate of your partnership. A healthy sex life is simply the natural byproduct of a healthy, vibrant, and resilient relationship. The path forward, therefore, begins with a commitment to rebuilding emotional safety above all else. Before you can even think about sexual techniques, you must first make it safe for each other to be vulnerable. This involves a radical commitment to eliminating criticism, contempt, and dismissal from your interactions. It means learning to listen not just to respond, but to understand. It means validating your partner's feelings, even when you don't share them. This work isn't glamorous, and it happens far from the bedroom. In the kitchen during a tense conversation, or in the car after a stressful day. It's the slow, patient work of becoming each other's safe harbor again. Alongside safety, the next step is to intentionally reintroduce individuality and playfulness. Many couples who have lost their spark have also lost themselves in the roles of parent or provider. You have to consciously create space to be individuals again. Encourage your partner to pursue a hobby they love. Take time to pursue your own. Bring new stories and fresh energy back into your shared space. At the same time, make a concerted effort to be playful. Tell jokes, be silly, and break the monotony of adult responsibilities. Laughter is honestly the shortest distance between two people, and it's a powerful antidote to the seriousness that can kill desire. This approach requires healing the deeper patterns we've explored, not just managing the surface-level issues. It means recognizing and addressing the anxious avoidant dance, the scorekeeping, and the unspoken expectations that have taken root. This is not about one person fixing the other. It's about both partners recognizing how they have co-created the dynamic and how they can co-create a new one. By shifting the focus from the act of sex to the quality of the entire connection, you're not just trying to solve a problem. You're embarking on a journey to build a more conscious, loving, and resilient partnership for the long term. It's essential to understand that reviving a connection that's been dormant for months or even years is not a quick fix. There's no single conversation or magical date night that will instantly solve the problem. This is a journey of rediscovery, rediscovering yourselves as individuals and rediscovering each other as partners. It requires patience, commitment, and honestly, a great deal of compassion for yourselves and for each other. There will be moments of progress followed by moments of setback. The key is to view it not as a pass-fail test, but as a gradual process of learning and reconnection, one small step at a time. This journey asks you to be brave enough to start new conversations. It means setting aside time, free from distractions, to talk about the things that truly matter. It involves asking open-ended, curious questions instead of making assumptions. You might ask, "When do you feel most connected to me?" Or "What is something you miss about us?" Or "Is there anything you're afraid to tell me?" These conversations can feel awkward and vulnerable at first, but they are the essential tools for clearing out the emotional debris that's accumulated between you, creating a clear space for a new kind of intimacy to grow. Part of this process is also expanding your definition of intimacy. For a time, it can be helpful to take penetrative sex completely off the table. This removes the pressure to perform and allows you to rediscover each other through non-goal-oriented touch. The focus can shift to holding hands, giving a foot rub, cuddling on the couch, or simply exploring what feels good without any expectation of it leading anywhere else. This practice rebuilds physical closeness in a way that feels safe and pleasurable, reminding your bodies that touch can be a source of comfort and connection, not pressure and anxiety. Ultimately, the transformation mindset is rooted in hope. It's the belief that by addressing the real causes of disconnection, recovery is not only possible, but can lead to a relationship that's stronger and more authentic than before. It acknowledges that both partners have likely contributed to the pattern, often unconsciously, and that both hold the power to change it. This journey is honestly one of the most profound and worthwhile investments you can make, not just for the sake of your sex life, but for the sake of the love that brought you together in the first place. You're not fixing something broken, you're creating something new. The journey out of a dead bedroom is a journey back to the heart of your connection. It requires courage to set aside excuses and ask deeper, more vulnerable questions. Answering these questions is about taking shared responsibility for the relational ecosystem you have co-created. This process is an invitation to see your partner with fresh eyes. The path forward is paved with small, consistent acts of intentional reconnection. The same two people who drifted apart hold the map to find their way back. Reviving your intimate life is about healing the relationship that contains it. Recognizing the true source of the distance is the first, most powerful step toward bridging it. This is not a quick fix, but a journey of profound transformation. Let the silence be the beginning of a new chapter and the invitation to finally come home.